This is one for the operator track. We're going to be talking about how to maintain your node after you've been learning all about how to set it up quite extensively from this gentleman over here, Serinko. He's now going to walk you through on how to maintain it. And after that, I mean, except for the graduation ceremony, which is going to go down tomorrow. So make sure to join that. There's going to be quite a bit of fun stuff there. Shipyard is over for the most part, but it is just the beginning. Anyways, more on that later. I'm getting ahead of myself. I would like to introduce my two guests here. One of them is Serinko, who you already know. Say hi to the people, Serinko.
Hey again. For those of you watching for the first time, Serinko, Nym DevRel, taking care of Nym nodes, being more of them in more places, in more VPS, and in larger quality.
Exactly. Hopefully with your support, who are watching. And then I also have with me Hux, the person who I just can't get rid of, apparently. Say hi to the people, Hux.
Hello, everyone. Nice to be back for another session. Sudo couldn't keep me away from attending the one but last event of this shipyard. So he really wanted me not to come, but he couldn't convince me. So here I am. Hope to have some questions for Serinko too.
And we're very happy for that. No, we're not. No, actually, we are. Yeah. This is shaping up to be a good one, a good way to round off the operator track. Oh, hi, Rocio. It's good to see you back. Serinko, anything you want to tell people before we get started?
No, I think I have it all sorted, and we'll say everything within the block. Basically, how we're gonna go. Yeah, I'll say that when we ship it.
Okay, all right. One quick note on the usual thing, which you probably know by heart at this point. There is going to be a Q&A, not only at the end, but if you're asking something that is very relevant to what Serinko is doing at the time, we're just going to jump in and ask him straight away. So if you see something on screen that you want to know more about, or you just have some general questions, make sure to leave them in the chat. Or you can also go to the general room of the Nym Matrix server, and you can also ask your questions there. And I always forget to introduce myself, by the way. I always forget to introduce myself. I'm Sudo, aka Simon. I'm your host for the evening. And with that, let's get started.
All right. If let's get started means I should go on. Let's do it. Okay. It's quite a way. This is the last class of the entire shipyard. This is a level 3. If you made it here, you are complete champs already. But as we said, Shipyard is just starting. So I want to provide with some tips and tricks how to maintain your nodes, how to make them easier to operate, stuff like that. I'm running on a single screen today. We can actually go into it right now, so I don't have to watch myself. We're gonna pull out my screen already. And
I shouldn't? Okay.
Yeah, do it. This is good. You should see Nym Operators Guide Maintenance, all of you. Correct? I believe so. So I'll be watching what you see. Therefore, I don't see any chats. I don't have any side screen, anything like that. So if there is any question, Sudo hopes anyone just jump in, read it from the chat, slow me down. I'll try to go mellow, enjoy it on a Thursday afternoon, and all of us having some good time with some documentation, command line, and our virtual machines running notes on them.
Okay. One quick
before we kick, go on.
When your screen is moving, it's a bit like it becomes a bit blocky. So make sure to not scroll up and down too much. Just find the spot that you want to show and then stay there.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. Take it away, sir.
No, sorry needed. That's great. Okay, so we have, first of all, I want to say that everything I'll be saying as of today and in future is stored in our Nym Operators Guide. That is recent, not that new, but kind of recent new book, markdown book, wiki, sitting on nymtech.net/operators. You'll find all these things there. However, I understand sometimes it's nicer, to catch up live. You can also find me in chats from Discord, Telegram, but especially on everyday basis in metrics. I come to Telegram and Discord as well, but in I'm not sitting there all the time to be also able to do some documentation work, testing, and stuff like that. We will be today focusing on this maintenance page. It's the point 6. But before we roll, I want to tell everyone who is running nodes, who is starting nodes today, or who is thinking about running nodes, to definitely check, like read through it a little bit. Also check about the mixnet, check about the nodes, check about all these things in the Shipyard previous masterclasses. And more than that, especially focus on this FAQ number 9, Project Smoosh. And what is Project Smoosh? I'm not gonna go through that now. We don't have the bandwidth and we want to have time for AMA. I do expect people either catch up later or being a bit knowledgeable from the last sessions. However, to summarize it real quick, from the mix node, the gateway, and the network requester binaries, we smooshing them into create one Nym node binary. Okay, so from operator's point of view, it's gonna be one Nym node binary. From the mixnet technical point of view, either an algorithm or operated by a flag, we have to decide, will be choosing whether this one binary Nym node is running as an exit gateway, that is a gateway with new exit policy and network requester inbuilt in it, as a mixed node or as entry gateway. Okay, there is a lot of questions around that, but especially what are the changes and where we at with these changes, you can find right on top under the introduction, and make sure you're following the status here. That will tell you where we at in the building of this Nym node in Project Smoosh and how will the exit policy be implemented. Okay, we are now in the points which are, and always will be wherever the green tick with saying done is labeled. With that said, also make sure to check FAQ on mixed nodes. And if you are about to start an exit gateway, before you do so, please read thoroughly operator's legal forum on running exit gateway, with also the ability of adding your own information, which is in the very bottom on how to add or edit legal information existing. Here is the entire guide on how to create pull request, where to communicate it, and so on. With that off the table, let's get into it. So I'm assuming that those of you who are with me today have running or installed at least Nym nodes, whether gateways, whether mixed node, which is the two main binaries we have today. Yes, we do have network requester and it's still listed, but because we have it already inbuilt in the gateway and we have the exit gateway binary within the gateway binary, or the optionality within the gateway binary running, I'm already talking only about mixed nodes and gateways. So what's interesting for us today is the maintenance page. There are some useful commands and stuff, but what people are asking a lot last week was upgrading your node, right? What that means. With that said, on a site, you need to be you need to be already SSH in your VPS shell, such as I'm here. Those of you who were with me last time, I was saying that I do enjoy Tmax because when I close the terminal, it only detach the session, but it's all still running in that shell. So if I come to I SSH into my shell, I only write tmax space attach dash session, I execute that, and I'm back where I left it last time without have to start anything, and so on. You can see here on the left side, it's the log of my mix node. That was the Shipyard demo mix node we set up last time together called MRD. We compiled that one. We also last time downloaded release straight from the binary releases, and there was a gateway. We made that gateway. We initialized an exit gateway. We started, then we turned it off because I don't want to bond an exit gateway in a live demo in front of the entire world. Because I did not do my research in the jurisdictions where I'm at, it would be irresponsible to do so. And then we spin up a mix node, which is running until this very day. With that, we can also have a look on our Network Explorer. This is my mix node. Let's refresh and see what's actually happening there. So we are inactive now. I just got today somebody delegating on that. So that's gonna higher my chances to become an active node, an active set, pardon me. There's everything we set up last time, right? You can see the identity key of our node. You can see the owner, that's my wallet. I can go there straight and see it here, that it actually, that's the node. We have here Amargi with the IP address and with the identity key, node ID, sorry, which is listed right here. We can look on the routing score. Since we started a week ago or something, it picked up immediately, and we've been doing pretty good, keeping it very close to 100. It's a very cheap machine, running it from Mumbai, India. Routing score 100, average routing score 97%, great. We can also check it out on Cornflakes Explorer called explorenym.net. You see that haven't picked the stake saturation just yet, if I'm not mistaken. However, these are places where I can check performance without going SSH into the VPS. But say today I want to upgrade my node. So I'm back on my VPS. I attached the TMAX session, which I've had, and I got everything in front of me, which we've been having since last time. Now, the upgrade is a two-step flow. One is you need to upgrade your binary. That's the same way like you were downloading that. That's either building, compiling from the repository, or just getting the binary itself with this wget command. I'll show that in a second. And the second step in this flow is to update no information on a Mixnet smart contract. That's the information you see in the Explorer, and we will do that through the wallet. Let me see what I have here. Cool. So first thing you want to do, and usually this process takes very short. I'm gonna lose some routing score right now. That's kind of sad, because in fact I believe that epoch ends actually in 12 minutes from now. And if everything worked, I'm pretty sure we would get into an active set, and can be all part of active set and show that. But that's not gonna happen, because I'm gonna first of all pause my node. And pausing node is also two-folded. If you have not set up an automation, you would have this thing you see on the left side, which is the log, printed messages of what your mix node or your node is doing. You just hit Control-C, by that you end that process, and it's paused, it's terminated. However, if you remember well, and we will go through that again today, we've automated our process. So the pausing is slightly trickier, and that's systemctl stop, and here is I add node.service, right? And if I wouldn't remember what my node is, I would go to /etc/systemd, /etc/systemd/system, and check out what I have, if I don't remember. So if you don't remember, it's fine. You can ls list this directory. It's a root directory, and you see that my node service is nymixnode.service. Very simple, as the same way we have it documented. But say I couldn't remember that, or just didn't want to go to documentation now or something like that. So with that said, I'll pause that. I'll pause this process. Systemctl stop nym-mixnode.service. And you can see what happened on the left side where I have the log, right? It's set stopping the mix node. Now our mix node is paused. However, we had nice routing score, and we had great stake on top of that. We're not going to get into active set in 10 minutes because our mix node is not working. So what we want next, we want to upgrade, as I said, 2 steps. I will repeat it again. 1, upgrade your binary. 2, update your information in a Mixnet smart contract through wallet. How can I upgrade my binary? If I go to a Nym repository, I can just do the same flow, which if we look into documentation, is right here. And that's to pause it, to pull the repository and compile it myself. Here are all the links if you want so. Then we will reinit the node, we will get to that. I'm not gonna be switching between the two. I'm gonna stay in a command line. You can be checking the book if you want. I'm doing exactly what's actually written there anyway. So there is 2 ways how to go about it. I'll choose the one which I like better, and that's to compile the whole repository. So I'll ensure that I'm on a master branch because that's where all the last releases are. Again, this is noted in the books. So I'll check out on to that. I'll pull all the updates on that branch.
Jimmy's asking, I think relevant here. Is pausing the
Yes.
same as unbonding?
No. Unbonding, it's always these 2 things are two different operations. So no, pausing is not the same as unbonding. What's gonna pausing harm is your routing score. I'm now getting any pings, it's returning 0, no good for me. That's why I'm saying this process is normally rather fast, so not a problem. But I'm gonna go slow through it so we all understand. But unbonding is something completely else. Your bond stays.
Is that clear, Jimmy? Let me know if you have any follow-ups.
And Serinko, can I ask also 2 like more high-level questions? So can you give just quick reasons for anyone to want to update their nodes? So when people must update their nodes and when they might update them.
So we usually put release versions out on Tuesdays. Usually doesn't mean always. That's where we try to put out milestones. Now, you don't have to. Maybe let's put it like this: you're expected and you should to be upgrading your nodes on a regular basis to keep with the latest release. Especially more weeks passes and more releases you are behind, the worse it's for the network. Also, the delegators who are on top of your node might start to observe that you're actually quite behind, might dedelegate, put it somewhere else, because we do want the network to be up to date. However, it is not the wisest idea to wait for the very second the release is out and all of us rush to our VPS and upgrade all at once, because Nym is a decentralized network. We don't have some like backup overlord machine running all the mixnet. You are the operators, and the mixnet is running through your nodes decentralized. If all the operators will start to be upgrading at the same time, it's gonna create quite a havoc. So take your time, but try to keep up to date. It's important, especially as we're heading towards the smoosh, the Nym node for the generic purpose mixnet and Nym VPN. It's gonna be even more important to be up to date. It's gonna also have impact on your rewards and on the incentives behind the mixed node and the active set. With that said, you see that I pulled with git pull origin master. I probably could have just run git pull since I was on branch master, and I'm in the Nym repository, right? That's the root of the Nym repository here, and I'll just run the same thing I did in the very beginning, cargo build -- release. It's reacting slowly to me, so it's this is always fun. This is gonna compile the repository. See, this is pretty fast because I'm up to date pretty much. However, I'm gonna let this compile. This is definitely not gonna take as long as when we did it first time. You remember it was like half of my last lesson was compiling. But you might wanna be just getting the repositories, and that's completely fine. Let me switch to another terminal maybe here. you can, last time, if you remember, we created this subdirectory just to have nice order, binaries. You can put it in home if you want. So I kind of like to have, directory like that. So if I change the directory where I have some binaries, I can also, let's be clear here. Let's get rid of that. So Nym binaries are now empty. So the upgrade would be the same. I would pause my gateway, or if I want to get the new version of a mixed node this way, I can do that. And then it's as simple as I go to release page, say, yeah, let's stick to gateway. So the Galaxy version have no gateway. Okay, I check Kinder. That was actually the version where we allowed for the exit policy and where the whole exit gateway was released. It's the same one we've had, but for transparency, I'll pick Nym gateway, right click on it, copy link. Okay, I'll go through it once again. Go to release pages, GitHub, Nymtech, Nym releases. Pick the version as newest as possible. For gateway, this is the newest one currently. Right click on the asset you want, copy link. Okay, now my link is in clipboard. I should have made everything working from last time, so my clipboard should be working. And I run this command, wget space, hola. What did I do wrong? It was different keyboard. And the link which I had in clipboard. Let's see. Now I have Nym gateway. I can make it more clear for everyone. Doesn't show with color, yeah, of course, because it doesn't matter. Okay, so we got the gateway, and we can work with it the same way like we working with any binary building within the whole Nym platform, which hopefully has been finished now, or it hasn't, but that's not a problem. We can fill the time with showing a few tricks we forget about last time.
There's also a question, Serinko, in the chat.
Yeah, go on. Amazing.
Igor is asking why the node is inactive. We do not receive rewards, correct? And he's asking later, will everyone become active? I'm guessing he's asking what it depends if you're, can jump on the active set.
Right. So real quick, this was actually explained my first lesson on Network Deep Dive 101, I believe. So check that out later, and it's in Nym tokenomics as well, but just not to brush you off the table with a limited scope. Yes, to get rewards, you need to be part of the active set. For active set, you need to be having good routing score. That means that when nodes around you ping in your nodes and the API is pinging your nodes, it returns positive. So if from 100 times of a ping, you get 100 responses, you get 100%, right? If you get 50 responses, you get 50%. That's as simple as that. From that, we come to something called routing score. That's the thing shown here. R1's going to be falling now rapidly. This is, I think, every 15 minutes. This is average past 24 hours. But you see that our node was having very good routing score. So that's one thing which is very important for you. Second is the stake saturation. And the stake saturation, there is quite a calculation how to get to that. It's basically our way of using token economics to prevent Sybil attacks and make sure there's decentralization. So we also preventing whaling by that at the same time. Now I'll stop here because then I'll go into quite numbers and explanation. But you need to get as close with the stake saturation as to 100% as well, which is currently something like 985,000 Nym tokens. You don't have to do it alone. You need to attract others, in the community to stake on top of your node. They holding the tokens, they can withdraw them back again. It's staking. It's not sending you tokens or anything like that. You don't want to be over stake saturation. So these two things, routing score and stake saturation, are very important for you to become part of the active set. That basically means stake saturation is your reputation in a community of the operators or of people having Nym tokens in the Nym community. Routing score is the performance of your nodes. That's a technical metric. Meanwhile, hop, we have built So just when I was showing this, getting the binary through this way, which was this command, right? I click on thing what I want, copy the link to the download, and I put it a bit behind the get command. I did 2 ways getting to the same result, right? This is not, you don't have to do both of the things. I'm just offering you 2 options here. So please don't do both, choose one. I do myself prefer to build the entire repository. The machine on which I'm running also allows for that. Sometimes your machine will just not compile at all, which is fine, and then you just get the binary directly. Why do I like that better? Is because if I change directory to target release, you can see that I have all these binaries being built with that compiling, right? I get a client, the gateway, the mix node, requester, and whole bunch of stuff. I have a CLI wallet and all those things up to date. I prefer that, I'm having it. That's my way of preference, especially possibly using more of these tools. But again, you can go minimalistic and just get it like that. Since I have that, and I know that I want to upgrade my mix node, by the way, if I did forget, I'll kill this process here. If I did forget how my mix node was called, then it's fine. You can see it on you can see it in here when you go to nymconfig.nym from home. That's where it stores config file, mix nodes, and when I list that, I'll see that there is a directory with whole configurations for Amargi, right? That was my secret phrase on the first lesson and the name of a node on the second lesson. So that's pretty easy. Now I know how my node ID is called. Yes, you can argue here that you can see that on the Explorer, but no, it's not the same thing. I've chosen that it's gonna be named the same thing on the Explorer in describe command, which we went through last time, and I'll repeat today again. But you can have your ID whatever you want. That is never gonna be listed. That's it's a moniker you choose for yourself. Now, when we have that, we are in target release. We see we have all these binaries in here, and basically what we want to do is name mix, and we will reinitialize that. I'll print help because maybe I don't remember that, which is completely fine. So I know that I want to reinitialize that. That is not going to overwrite my keys. Okay, if I use same ID, which I listed myself in a configuration folder, I as well could have done /gateways, right? I will see what gateways I've had. Now I'm upgrading mix node. I know it's called Amargi, so if I'm gonna reinitialize mix node with the same ID, it's not gonna rewrite my keys. It's only gonna rewrite the version and things in configuration like that. It's gonna upgrade my node, but it's gonna keep my node. And again, this is not gonna get off your bonding, your delegation, none of that stuff. That is pretty simple, straightforward. Then I'm gonna run this command with the Nimix node command is in it, and my subcommands are then ID, Amargi, and host. And look, I'll under stress of live demo, I could not remember the command for it myself, which is completely fine because here if we run init with the same values, next node. So I just open that tab and check it out for myself because you don't have to remember none of these things. They're all documented here. And I'll pick this, which is will automatically get my public IP. So this is the host kind of variable command to get that. Let's see what's gonna happen. Here we go. So we set up. We have now upgraded mix node. Very quickly, if you last time didn't do it, I really want you to now do a few things before you, especially if you're bonding for the first time, do a few things before you bond that. You can also see that we have it here, running your mix node, bonding your mix node. that we do recommend, okay, we recommend people to do a few more steps before bonding. So if this is your first time bonding, or if you're upgrading, but you know that you now paused anyway, do these steps. I can only highly recommend them. That is describe your node. That's with describe command, okay. You just execute that with your ID. I'm not gonna do that because I've already described my node. And configure a firewall, we've done that. It's watch the last video, automate your mixed node. And I'll go once more through that because I think this is important. I mean, we can just make sure that the node runs for the sake of it. Do a test run ID amargi. That's always good to do. However, I'm not gonna be running it just like that. I like to have it automated in case somebody reboots my VPS, it auto starts, it sets my ulimit and all these things. So it's available now to receive mixed traffic. Everything's working just fine. You see Control-C and I'm killing it. I just hit Control-C, that kills it. That's because I ran it straight from the shell in front of me. I'll switch, I believe I have it here, yes. So if I go to etc, it's a root directory, it's /etc/systemd/system. I've already did that last time, but if you didn't, don't worry about that. You want to open some Vim, Nano, or something, NeoVim text editor in this folder with the name name-mixnode.service and copy there the maintenance systemd automation, okay? So for Mixnode, you copy there this whole block. It's only that. You copy there this block, and you see that there is few variables, especially your ID and the path. So you need to define that. I have it here, root/name type blah blah blah. That's from where I run it. If you would have it in, you know, home, your name /binaries, because you didn't put it in a Nym repository, but you just downloaded it, that's the path. You need to put your path. Okay, that's everything which is in these brackets. You have to change for your own. You know, you have to. Sometimes it's try and error, but this is my command for starting a node. An important thing which we already have set in there is limit no file as big as possible, 65,536. That is because normally per process, there's a limit of files which can be running on 1024, I believe. That's not enough for all the mixing packets, the Sphinx 1 kilobyte packets running from a mix node. Therefore, you need to lift this limit on file. Okay. So that's why I like it, because this automate my node, but also it automatically sets my ulimit, which is another thing you see in maintenance below, which you otherwise have to do through another commands. So all that I just save whatever text editor you're using. I'm using again some Vim or NeoVim, you know, $x, column X, and here we go. So now I've upgraded automation. This is really all what it takes. I've had it since last time, but basically I did this step like if I would be starting that one now. And now we just start the node. I've described it. I've automated. I have lifted the ulimit through the automation, through the same systemd config. And I have from the last time already opened my ports. We can check it for the sake of that, which is configure firewall. We can just run EF3 status. I'm not going to run sudo anything because I'm a root. And you see we have all these ports open which are needed. So now an important thing is that we're no longer going directly to where the node is, but we're gonna, anywhere from home or wherever you're at, we're gonna be pointing to that systemd config. First of all, we have to reload the daemon for having the upgraded. systemctl daemon reload. That should have pulled that. And we started. Again, if you would be not doing that, I highly recommend you to do so. People might have reasons. I don't like systemd. I'm running VPS without systemd, and that is completely fine. I support that opinion. I support people picking the choice. For me, honestly, I have one VPS, Mumbai, India. It do one thing and one thing only, and that is to run a node. I do not mind to have it automated through systemd. For this purpose, would I run it or not on my home computer? Well, that's not a question, right? So systemctl start, sorry, what am I writing? Again, we will never start it. And then it's node.service. As we've seen it, again, it's this exact name, okay, which you have in that, how you saved it in, I follow the default configuration from our documentation. It's gonna start it. Because it's systemctl, I don't see this nice print. What I can do is, I think it's calling for the status, it's active and running. But what I like even more, this just prints me some like information, active and running, nice. But what I like even more is what we had here before. That command is there as well, and it's journal ctl and call -fu for the name mixed node service, and that's gonna be live printing me. Unfortunately, without colors, you can figure out something how to customize it. When I have a bit more time after Shipyard, I'll find that flag to put it in our documentation to have it nice, like we have it on our right side when we before just run it. Unfortunately, now without colors. This is all. So my mixed node is running under CTL. If I didn't do the systemd automation, I still have to do this important step, and that is that is the ulimit. Now I can't see it. If you would cut me in pieces, setting the ulimit. I was just on that. So setting the ulimit looks like this, and we don't want that to be as I said, this is a variable. I need to change it. Name mixed node. Max open file. You see that it pulls from the configuration. If I didn't have that, and I would be running no systemd setup, I have to run ulimit -a, and you see that the n in here is 4096 because we already did it also last time already on this machine. Normally you would have that 1024, and then you would change that into the number I have with ulimit -un 4096. By that you change the ulimit, and that's the maximum packages which can run through a process, which is very important for you. Otherwise, your mixed node will be your process will be limiting what your mixed node want to perform, and your mixed node will be halted its performance. That's not where you want to be at. And we're gonna be concluding today's session with the step 2, which is clicky, simple, and easy. So now when my node is running, I know it's automated. That means I can walk away and come back next time, and it's gonna be running as long as the VPS is running, because anytime somebody would reboot the entire machine, the config file will kick it on again. I don't have to be controlling that, especially in areas where, it's not as stable. Maybe you experimenting with to be as decentralized as possible. Great, this is a good tool for you to use. When I have that running, all I need is to update, do the step 2, and that's to update the node information on on the mixed node smart contract. Again, this took us quite some minutes, but it's because I've been showing you all the things you should do for the first time. I'm going through all possible options, but it's literally get the binary, rerun your init, and restart your node. Or sorry if I'll repeat it, pause your node, get the binary, reinitialize with the same ID, start your node. Okay, these 4 steps can be very quick. It's within minutes. Now, for the first time, doing quite a few things extra, it's taken us some time. So I'll go to Nym wallet. This is my Nym wallet. This is my the one bonded. I can see that here I have the mix node. How we bonding we already showed last time with quite some bumps because I had some errors on my shell. Those of you probably laughing now. It was very fun actually. Very simple. You go to node settings, hit it here, and what you want is to update the version in here. So I can print it by name mix node command build info or command version will also work. I hit that command and it's already up here, but it's also the build version in here. Okay, so as my mix node is upgraded, now I'm gonna update the information in the mixnet smart contract. That's the one which is actually shown in the Explorer. So I'll copy this value. Those of you who are watching can obviously see that it's the same which I already have here because the version didn't change since the last video. So, as long as I want to submit the same version, it's not going to let me because I am already on that version. However, this is how we're upgrading the Mixnet smart contract, the Explorer. You can see if you do any changes that everything which I have here is same to the mix port, Verilog port, HTTP port, and the host. When I initialize the node, it printed it. Those are already stored here from the time we initialized that. Sorry, we bond our node for the first time. I would here just submit changes to the blockchain. I would just hit it. I would accept the transaction, which is very, very cheap, and that would be it. In the next epoch, this information would be up on the blockchain. As it says here, this is only on a blockchain side of things. So you always have to do both of these steps. My last tip before we go to AMA or any questions is that if you're starting a new node or if you upgrading a node, always make sure that you are ahead, especially with a new node, on the mixnet side of things. That means you did all the things you wanted to do. Then you run your mix node or your gateway, very soon Nym node. And while it's running, preferably, if you forgot something, you pause it, you add the description, you add automation, you open the firewall, you change the limit, you start it again because you have all the time for the first time. And then when you're sure that it's run, only then you come to the side of a wallet and you bond it. Same thing you do with the upgrading. Pause your node, download new binary, reinitialize, start. Once it's running, go to wallet and upgrade the version here. Submit the changes to the blockchain. There we go. A little bit later on, you come back to some of the explorers, and you can, we can go here to Ponflex Explorer, and you can see that the version of my node is exactly here. So question. That's for me. Go on.
This is highly relevant, and we see this a lot in the community as well. How to check what version to enter in the wallet?
Okay.
This is from Jimmy.
Yeah.
Versions I remember have caused like quite a bit of confusion at different times because the versions were different in different places.
Very good question. So I'm doing a little bit long. This ls, you can do just ls. I'm doing a long one to have it nicely sorted for all of you watching. The thing is, Nym is quite we have a big monorepo, and that's for a reason, and that's I think that's a strength. That's not a weakness. So you see how many binaries are in that repository being built at once. There's also wallet. There is also all these type of things. Sure, no, wallet falls under different repo. Doesn't matter. You see all these binaries in here. There is no way. Sometimes you need to do hotfix or you need to do bigger milestone on one of the binaries. There is no way we forever can keep versioning aligned across all of these binaries. However, it is advantage for us to keep it in one repository. So if we have now version releases right here, Nym binaries versions, we chosen to have the name of a year dot which milestone is in the year. It doesn't look like much because we changed it quite recently, and we add a naming to that, like Kinder, Galaxy, what have you. That is a name of a release, okay? That's a release version. That's our milestone. That's for developers, but that's not version of each of these binaries. It's more so we can refer to that. I can tell you the last gateway, which was, by the way, for the first time, the exit policy exit gateway is in v2023.3 Kinder release. But what version of the gateway it is, sorry, that was my own. You check by the command which I was just showing. We can, for example, see it here. Right, you go to wherever your binaries are. Now I'll get the one which I downloaded, or you go to target release, doesn't matter, and you run. Doesn't do anything. Interesting. Maybe you run this build info. Oh, permission denied, of course, because guess what? We need to give it permission because we downloaded binary. This is not the one we built. So that's commod plus x Nym gateway build info. This command I explained and went over last time. It's just to give permission to a binary we downloaded because we didn't build this ourselves. And here we go. The version is right under this print. If you did it without this print, you're gonna have it in build version. How do I find this is the actual version? Now we already know that in releases, that's a release information. That's not a version. I will take this on, we should be looking for gateway 1.1.31. And I will go refer, as always, to our documentation, Nym operators guide. And I'll go to gateway. And the current version is up here. Okay, it's right on top under the each binary as well. So you see that is the same. I'm up to date because I just downloaded it. If you would look on a mixed node, and that's what I was saying, we cannot keep them on the same versioning. It's just impossible due to the upgrades on the code base side of things. Pardon. Mixed node is 1.1.33. And as you remember, we were just putting that in our settings as well. In our Bonde, you see that version is here. And I can check it on Ponflakes Explore Nym. Here it's as well. That's our node. And you can always do this kind of trick when you set up a node, or like you want to attract the community. You take your node and come here to node operators and like, hey, fellas, we made a node in a live session, right? And you drop your node here, and we have other places for that. The friends will link to the community resources for that, but that's a way to share it on Discord, on Telegram, and stuff here as well. Okay, next question.
All right, so are we moving into Q&A? Should I bring us up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Such a thorough walkthrough. Thank you, Serinko, for making this happen.
Exactly, very thorough.
And super easy to follow.
Wait. So we have a few questions, but guys, keep them coming if you have any. We have a bit of time to answer them. I think these are all great. Konstantin asks whether they should run a requester, gateway, and mixed node on different VPS providers or different VPSs for better decentralization.
Yes. So in my opinion, as it was not too long ago, and I think it's still like that, and we can test it very easy, you are not able to be running several nodes on the same VPS. You can create Dockers, you can create different virtualization, you can probably create different users, but under one user, under one machine, they will block each other away. We see here on the left side that we've been running.
I removed your.
We've been running a mixed node. Okay, bring my screen back. Great. So the mixed node keeps running. Actually, it mixed some packets since we started up. Wow, look at that. We've been mixing packets. Are we actually an active set? No, we're not. But that's not a problem for us. So the mixed node has been running. Oh, it is. Look, we became even part of active set. Brilliant. We got a good state saturation. We got routing score 0 because it was off for 1 hour, but the general one is long. So it's been mixing. It's a proof of mixing that's been running on the same machine. I'll then go to. I can also initialize a gateway here or something, but I'll go to this binaries for the one we just downloaded. I'm playing with two options. I would myself do everything in target release because that's where I've built it. I would have no reason to be downloading any binary, but I'm showing you two options how to go about that. So here we should have the gateway. We gave it the permissions, if you remember, about a few minutes ago. And we're gonna run it. Let's run it all together on one machine. And now I don't actually remember how it's called, and that's completely fine because we can just have a look in the folder. Gateways, So it's called Shipyard Exit Gateway. That's the one we set last time. Nice. You see, I still have the config here. So I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get back to my binaries. And run ID Shipyard Exit Gateway. And we see that the mix node on the left side is active. It's mixing packets as crazy. Our application's probably running through this very mixed node. We can't see that. That's the beautiful part about that. Let's run it. Hop. Here we crash the problem. Okay. Error, Nym gateway, no mixed handling, receive listener failed to bind to the address because this port 1789 happens to be the same port we've been using here for mixed port. Okay. That means the address is already in use. Error 98. Are you sure nothing else is running on a specified port and user have sufficient permission? Yes, we have sufficient permission. Yes, we can do all that, but are we sure that nothing else is running on that port? No, we're not, because in fact, we know that there is something else running on that port. Long story short, you cannot run a gateway and a mixed node on the same user on the same machine. Unless you do some virtualization, then I believe it would work out. Secondly, important information, and that's also why, a little alpha here, we might have to do some tweaks on our delegation program. You cannot bind your gateway and mixed node to the same Nym account. Once again, you cannot have one wallet account and bond multiple nodes to that account. So these two things makes your node operation, maybe a little bit more overhead, but there are reasons for that. And you just start a new account for a gateway. It's very easy. Just go to my wallet. You click on it here. You see, I already have few, testnet, mixed node, what have you, and you run that. You bond to different accounts. So if that answered, the answer is no. You have to do it on different machines, or at least create. And I would have to test it under different virtualization, like Docker or something like that.
That was the longest no I've ever heard in my life. Good one. No, thanks for
hot topic.
All right. So next question is from Echo Igor. Thanks for the great questions. How to attract delegations to a node?
How to attract delegations to a node? Well,
I take this.
One is, yes, I take this. One is,
I can
look. You can take this. Yeah, please take that. That would be great. Actually, you are much more community, and I shouldn't be shilling my own node in as a Nym core. I wanted to show it as example, but please do it. That's gonna be much healthier.
All right, so the way you attract delegations is to make yourself visible in the community. So it's a very good idea to start contributing. So some of our most successful node operators, like for example, Node Just Verify, they have been running a mixed node for a long time. So obviously they had a head start on you. But what they also do is first they build their own little community and they share updates with their delegators on a recurring basis, what's been going on with the nodes, how they perform, reward reports, all of that kind of stuff. They're very transparent and they have their own community where their delegators can hang out with them. And the other thing that you should do, besides making yourself and your node visible in the community, is to be transparent, like very transparent with how you're setting things up. Very transparent if you end up changing some parameters, like you know, maybe your profit margin, you end up changing that. You should be very transparent why you're doing that. You know, you should communicate in advance that you're doing that. This is basically the way. Now, it's not very easy to get in front of delegators. So one way of doing that is sending me a DM on Telegram. Wait, I'm gonna share my handle here in chat. So this is me. This is me on Telegram, and also Merv. I think she's just at Merv, but I'm not entirely sure. Hopefully I'm not entirely sure about her handle. You can send us a DM with your node promo, and then there is a mixed node delegations channel on Telegram where people can send delegator promos. That's where, for example, our team, just to share some alpha with you, our team goes there to select nodes to delegate to often. So to regularly post on this channel is a good idea. Now there's also the equivalent. Wait, let me get a link to this channel so that you can see what a promo looks like. Here you guys go. So regularly post on this channel with your node promo, make it stand out from the others, maybe add an image, have your own branding, all of that kind of stuff. And then the same exists on our Discord server as well. You can fill out a form once a week because we don't want people to spam that channel. You can fill out a form once a week with your node details, and then there's a node promo channel where your node details get posted. And the third way, of course, which you probably know about by now, is going to be the delegators program. So in the delegators program, you will learn all the ins and outs of how to build your own community, how to make yourself visible in the Nym community, how to stand out with your nodes, how to have a solid node, implementing all of the stuff that Serinko has been talking about over his 3 lectures so far. And you're going to be mentored in that process. So sorry, 4. Apologies, sir. Apologies. So you're going to be mentored in that process. So and you're also going to get Nym treasury delegations, which will help you be profitable straight out the gate while you're attracting community delegations. That's basically the gist of it. That's my shortest answer.
I can add something, but Hooks, if you want to add something, go first, please.
No, go.
Okay, first I see Talin Min Kagda drop. If you're here for the drop, and you're in the wrong place, we're learning here how to set up decentralized infrastructures. Long-term value in multiple ways, no drops, sorry, wrong room. However, everything Sudo said is great. Mind that transparency doesn't mean a doxing. You still can do all these things in an anon way. Transparency is about being open with your steps, with, okay, how much profit margin am I taking? If I'm having very big one, what is it like? Why? Or like, am I very decentralized, paying a lot for my machine? What is the proof of that? And so on. That doesn't mean you have to KYC know where to run a node or anything like that. Okay, so that's 2 different things. Check out yesterday's program about node operators. There's a way to run it as a business as well. There is a way to with full entity or something. As well, there is a way to get your VPS on crypto, full anon, be just an element and all that type of stuff. It's based on your choice, based on your preference, based on your taste. You gotta make the choice. Secondly, now there is a lot of operators, I hope, who will want to get their delegators. They'll have new nodes and want to have the delegators, and we soon TM gonna be spinning up the delegation program. So it might be difficult to catch in the waters where all of you want to have node and get delegators on top of that, because it's almost like a competition. So what you can do, you can think in a way that you turn around from the same bucket where you would be asking, and be going to another people who might be interested for such tech, and set it up in a way like Daniel was talking about, I believe on Tuesday, where people run another DAO and they have their own squad, and the reason doesn't have to be for you the same like they have for you. It can be any different reason, and you can create such a group with a bunch of people and be like, what about we put there this amount of margin, we share that among ourselves because you know each other, you trust each other. Soon TM, we also gonna have multisig on our wallet, no deadlines, no promises, and you basically start the initial delegation with everyone in that group holding on their own keys, on their own funds, but delegating on top of the same node. And by that, you create some starting stake saturation, and that will also attract then people you've never heard of and you don't know. So if you combine all this info, you can get spinning up solid saturation pretty quickly, and you can get up to speed. We are still pretty early in this tech, so you're not late.
Yeah.
Cheers. There's a bunch of quicker questions. Do you want to take them, like short answers? Because I think they...
Yeah, let's do it.
So, is there a solution to change the VPS server provider without losing bonding and delegations?
Yes. Same question as before. Sorry, same answer as before. Once you pause your node, yes, you're gonna be starting losing your root score, but that does not mean that you're unbonding. So as always, I'll refer to. I actually made this automation not too long time ago, or like this command. Sorry, it's not automation, but it's like make it easier. In here, as with everything, you'll find moving a node in the very bottom, and basically what you need to pause your node. You need to get into a new, you need to get in a new machine, and then from your local machine, SCP, the special copy, allow us to run -3 command, because basically what would be happening normally, you would have to take SSH from first machine and put it to authorized key to another machine, would have to like generate new keys to have the direct SSH tunneling. But with the -3, you can do it from your local source. You put a source, all the address to one machine, target, all the address of the other machine, and you run it from your local command line to basically copy it from one to the other. And everything else is here. You basically need to get there the whole .name config. So if it's mixed nodes, it's -mixed nodes. If it's gateways, it's /gateways, or you just move the entire config, and then you reinitialize on that machine with the same ID which you have in that configuration, using the automized command for getting your host, which will then you don't even have to find the IP yourself, and then you run it. So on the what's gonna happen is that you're gonna lose the time of this procedure from your routing score. Other than that, business as usual. Do change your description so it shows on the Explorer where it is, because later on the Verloc will figure out that if you say it's on Iceland and you're playing, or Iceland, I don't know, it's on Greenland and you're playing for large decentralization and it actually sits in, I don't know, in Netherlands, then it will be figured out that it's not there. So make sure you change your description as well. Next one.
There's one for you, Sudo, but I'm not really sure about this question. If you need to change your initial reward settings, please repeat again. Where do I report this?
Yes. So what I said was that if you have your own delegator community, so people who delegate to your node are gathered in a Telegram group which you manage and you share regular updates. That's where you would speak to them about things like changing your parameters, or you've updated to this or that version, or you had downtime for this or that reason, right? So that's a really good way of keeping in direct touch with your delegators, because it invokes trust in them, and they're going to be more likely to stick with you on a longer term basis.
Thank you for repeating that. And there's, I think, only one last question. Can people start applying for delegations program from tomorrow on? But do we want to butcher announcements one day early?
No.
Right? That's what
Sure.
I thought.
Not sure when registrations will actually open. Serinko, do we have a timeline on that or not yet?
There is, look, the changes in Smoosh, as I said, are very dynamic, and always watch for the things. Scroll back in the beginning of this episode where I show all those books. I'm not gonna go into this explanation and stuff, but because of this dynamicism and all these things happening, we aim in the next delegation program for people to run exit gateways. But now we can only delegate on mixed nodes, so we have to resolve this question in the best possible scenario, also giving the parameters like decentralization and all that type of stuff. So very soon we're gonna open the registration. I think it has been previously announced that it might be tomorrow. I'm not gonna say for sure. I'm not gonna say no, but stay tuned.
We did say that the blog post was coming. I said myself that the blog post was coming on Friday. I wasn't back then. I wasn't aware of some of the minor complications that we saw. So it may take a bit longer than that, but I would say that definitely before the end of next week, the delegations program, like registrations, will open for the delegators program, and hopefully possibly earlier as well. So we'll keep you guys posted on that for sure.
Nice one.
And I'll say again, you're not losing anything, okay? It's not started behind the door. There is nothing like that. Once it's come out, it's going to be announced 5 times on all of our networks, media, and all that stuff. So worry not. You're doing great work, and we mostly building it for the tech, right? So, stay tuned.
Cool, thank you for that. There's one last question which I got from an unknown participant. He's asking about after Project Smoosh, can you tell a bit about the expected APY on the nodes which are operating as exit gateways too? How it might change, or you don't have any estimations on that yet?
Okay, I don't think, and take it with a large grain of salt, I don't think the token economics, as far as I've been told, are gonna change too much. I don't think so. Okay, but what's gonna happen is that there is these 2 options. One is everyone will have to run exit gateway optionality to become ever part of active set, and then for anyone who is part of active set, same reward distribution. Then we're gonna stay where we at now. Simple as that. Option 2, it's optionable. It is you can choose it as a flag according to your choice as an operator. But then if you do choose so, the exit gateways will get higher rewards than the mixed nodes. I would assume 33 to 66%, something like that ratio. And this is my assumption. Don't take it for any promise. Why is that? There is much more work, much more overhead and risk exposure to exit gateways, and we also need them much more than mixed nodes currently. With that said, one way or the other, the rewards API is one thing. Even if that's gonna remain the same, what is important is that the APY or APR, that doesn't matter which metric you're looking at, what is it counted from, right? So we have some reward distribution. But today in a web summit, Harhalpin just announced Nym VPN. That means that's a product which will be paid by the users, such another similar network products. So all of a sudden, we're talking about different adoption and distribution of those payments among operators. So APY, APR is one metric, but the pool from which we take in that, we expect to be much greater because of the shipping products.
One important thing to mention around this topic is that what definitely won't happen is that it will not become mandatory or so mandatory and non-optional for you to run an exit gateway like very soon. Like it's not going to happen tomorrow or anything like that. If that scenario, what Serinko mentioned, will ever happen, then it will be like in some time, in like many steps. Am I right about that, Serinko? This is my last info. I'm not keeping that close of an.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'll drop here the link, which is very important for everyone to follow. What are the changes? This is really to keep up on all time. I'll drop it here and please post it on. that's what's gonna happen, because we need to do a lot of testing. We need to see how that works, and based on that, also what is the reaction of the operators, and what incentives need to be put in the game. So no promises, no kind of like final lines in here, but these are the two options. You can also scroll down in the same thing.
Okay. One question, which is for me, and I think this is really the last one. Sorry guys for staying over. Hopefully you had a bit of fun. I know I did. So the question is about the higher gas fees for co-op claiming. So this one is from, I'm sorry, I can't read Cyrillic, but lots of chance to get previous POAP because of high gas. The problem is, yeah, we received this from other community members as well. Not sure what's going on with the with the situation. We did extend, yeah, so we did wait, oh yeah, so you still can claim, apparently. I'm hearing the previous pull-up, so try again. Not sure what's going on with the gas fees, but unfortunately we have no control over that. So that's the cost of minting. Unfortunately, it is what it is, but we did extend minting.
I mean, you say this now, but all of your NFT collections just launched on Polygon, so we all know that
Exactly.
you're clogging the whole layer 2 there. So
yeah,
nice try.
I can help with that question, because as a Nym core team, I'm obviously not harvesting none of these POAPs, and it's outside of the operator whole thing. So I don't know anything about it. And yes, chat, Serinko uses a lot of salt. Yes, sometimes too salty is just salty. Excuse my French.
That is okay, guys. That is not actually true. So too much salt, you can get salt poisoning. That's true. And if you have high blood pressure, salt is also unhealthy for you because it raises blood pressure. But low salt is much more healthy. So it's not actually true. Like most of the recommended, like daily recommended salt amounts in most countries is actually like under what you should be eating salt. Humans are one of the only mammal species which is really, really good at excreting salt. So whenever you eat a lot of salt, unlike any other mammals, humans are really good at getting rid of it. So you pee it out, you sweat it out. So it's much better to eat a bit more salt, unless your blood pressure is high, than eating little salt, because that can lead to all kinds of neurological and other physiological problems. Just saying, guys. Anyways, sorry for the...
By this, we organically ended up Shipyard, the entire Shipyard, and we went fluently into Nym biological and dietary tips and suggestions for all of you. This is amazing. I love that. That's why I like Sudo and Hook so much.
Workshops, no?
Exactly. All right, folks. Well, that brings us to the next pull-up, and also the last outro for Shipyard. So huge thanks, everybody. Obviously, there's still a graduation ceremony. Please make sure to join there, because and also claim the pull-up. Very important, because it may come very handy in the future. I'm not gonna say more than that, but given that this is the last like learning event here at Shipyard, I would like to thank everybody for sticking around. You guys absolutely rock. Amazing questions, just amazing new people popping up in the community. Also, a lot of amazing old people who have been, not old as in old age, but like have been around in the community for long enough. Also, they have been participants, and it was really, really fun. I'm gonna be honest, we're quite exhausted. I know I'm speaking for Hux, definitely, and also probably a bit for Serinko. I definitely know I'm speaking for Merv and Sal when I say we're exhausted, but we're also really happy to see what Shipyard turned out to be, and that is thanks to you. So huge thanks, everybody, for.
I'm pumped. I'm pumped. It's just, as somebody said, Shipyard is just the beginning. So I'm completely morale 1000.
Exactly. Same here. Can't wait to see what's around the corner, no? When we finish this chapter together. Yeah, super exciting, guys. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for participating. And Serinko, huge thanks for putting this walkthrough together. It's been super useful. I think everyone, heard what they need to know how to run.
My pleasure.
All right,
so see everyone tomorrow, same time, for a graduation ceremony.
Wait, you're forgetting
one thing,
dude.
Yeah, the most important thing before we wrap up.
Oh, we're finishing. I'm finishing. Okay.
So,
am I speaking? So shall I go, or
wait? You go now.
Wait. Okay. All right. Secret phrase: martyrs never die. Okay. Remember that this is very important. Why is that important? Is because everything we do, we talk about the fact that we can be compiling on our own machines. it was not always for free. The liberties, the freedoms, the rights we have, they were not for granted to us. There were people before us who had to take massive sacrifice in order that we can enjoy the freedoms and liberties we can enjoy every moment we have. And I was thinking about which person to bring, but I realized I'll rather put this phrase, because I think what's more interesting is that if it's such a decentralized community, people all over the place, you all take a second, you all take a minute of silence and then a minute of a research. Who are the important people for you in your region and in your area of work or the freedoms you enjoy? I think this is very important to remember also, because that means that the people did not die, means that they are not forgotten, right? You can kill a person, but you cannot kill no idea. So by that remembering, we also celebrating life. And I think in this time of the year, when October went into November, in different places it's called different way. To remembering those of us who paved the way for the freedoms we have is, I think that's essential for us. So this is nothing sad. This is nothing negative. In fact, this is a celebration of life and learning from those before us, and that we, take in the steps to the brighter future again. Thank you very much.
Beautiful closing words. And I have to say, guys, don't tell all the other presenters, but the secret phrase game of Serinko is still like absolutely top. Like, here's Serinko and here's everybody else. So pretty good job, Serinko. Huge thanks for doing these. Absolutely amazing. Hopefully see you maybe at the graduation ceremony tomorrow, but that's still up for us to discuss. For now, I'm gonna go through how you can claim your POAP, although you probably know by heart by now. So go to the link, which was also shared in the chat, nimtech.net/go/POAP, and use the phrase "martyrs never die" with the same spelling. So capital M, separate words, and no other capital letters. I don't think we're gonna be closing it after 15 minutes, so we're gonna be keeping it a bit longer so that you can claim, given the like larger gas fees these days. Now the next steps, obviously. There's nothing else left to do than congratulating you for graduating Shipyard. It's a huge achievement. You've been here with us for 6 weeks. You know all there is to know about Nym, but also about the broader vision of a private internet, and also how you can participate in bringing that vision about. So that's what we're going to be working on, hopefully together with you. This is why I keep saying Shipyard is just the beginning. It really is indeed just the beginning. So this is where we start building together. Now, during the graduation ceremony, you will find out about find out some reward information. Also, you will get a special POAP, which may be very handy in the future. And also, you will find out how you can double your Shipyard rewards. So make sure to join. See you all there, and have a lovely evening. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much, everyone. See you around.
Thank you, everyone. See you guys.